Galactic forces reigned, until humans stepped in and destroyed their momentum. The Galactic Concordat ruled the stars for 20,000 years. Made up of the oldest and most advanced species, they controlled who could join their ranks. They believed order came from careful control of technology and expansion. High Commander Han stood on his massive ship, looking at the holographic map of known space. His gray skin reflected the blue light of thousands of stars. The Concordat controlled all of them. "Commander, we found another developing world," said Officer Sun, handing him a report tablet. "The locals call it Earth." Han looked at the images of the blue planet. The species there built primitive rockets and had just reached their own moon. "Apply standard protocol. Watch them for 500 years, then decide if they're worthy." The Concordat had strict rules. Young species needed guidance. They needed to develop slowly, following the approved path. Han had overseen hundreds of such worlds during his 3-century career. "This planet seems different," Sun suggested. "They develop technology very quickly." Han waved his long fingers dismissively. "All young species seem fast at first. They all slow down eventually." But Officer Sun wasn't convinced. Their lifespans are very short. Most live less than a century. It makes them impatient. The Concordat Council met that evening in their grand chamber. 12 representatives from the founding species sat around a floating table. Each came from worlds that had been spacefaring for thousands of years. "The humans concern me," said Counselor J, the oldest member. "Their technology jumps forward in ways we haven't seen before." Minister Park disagreed. "They follow the same pattern as all species. They will plateau soon." "Their communication systems are primitive," added Science Director Hyun, "but they improve at triple the standard rate. Their computer technology doubles in power every few years." Han listened carefully. Something about these humans bothered him. Most species developed gradually, with occasional leaps forward. But humans seem to advance in all areas simultaneously. "I recommend closer observation," Han finally said. "Perhaps we should place monitoring stations at the edge of their solar system." The council approved the plan. It was a small adjustment to standard protocol, but enough to ease Han's concerns. The next day, Han visited the history archives. He searched for other species with development patterns like humans. There were none. "Show me their conflicts," he ordered the computer. The screen filled with images of human wars. They fought constantly, yet each conflict pushed their technology forward dramatically. They turned destruction into creation. Han whispered. That night, he couldn't sleep. The Concordat maintained galactic peace through careful management of progress. Species were guided along safe technological paths, but humans didn't seem to follow paths at all. They jumped, twisted, and found their own ways forward. 2 weeks later, the monitoring station near Earth reported unusual activity. The humans had detected a Concordat probe that was meant to be invisible to their technology. "Impossible," Han said when he received the report. "Their sensors shouldn't be capable of this." Officer Sun looked worried. "They're already building more advanced versions of the detection system. They're learning from our mistake." Han made a decision. "Move up the timetable. Begin first contact preparations." "But Commander," Sun protested, "the protocol requires 500 more years of observation." "These humans won't wait 500 years, Han replied grimly. "They might surpass our technology before then." The council was divided on Han's recommendation. Some feared changing protocols that had worked for millennia. Others were curious about this unusual species. "If we wait, we might face humans who have developed in ways we never imagined," Han argued. "Better to bring them into the Concordat now while we can still guide them." Little did Han know that on Earth, a brilliant scientist named Min had already discovered unusual signals from the Concordat's monitoring station. She worked day and night to understand what they meant. "There's someone out there watching us," she told her colleagues, "and they've been doing it for longer than we thought." The humans were already preparing for a meeting they weren't supposed to know about for centuries. The Concordat's careful plan was already falling apart. Their momentum, maintained for 20, 1,000 years had met its first real challenge. The Pathfinder was humanity's first true deep space vessel. Captain Jin hadn't planned to make history. His mission was simple: test the new experimental drive beyond the orbit of Neptune. "All systems normal," reported Navigator Kyung, her fingers dancing across the control panel. Jin nodded, watching the stars through the main viewport. "Take us to planned distance and prepare for drive test." Nobody expected what happened next. The modified fusion drive, enhanced with Dr. Min's theoretical adjustments, created an unexpected field effect. The stars blurred, and for 3 terrifying seconds the ship seemed to exist everywhere and nowhere. When reality stabilized, they were somewhere impossible. "This can't be right," Kyung whispered, staring at the navigation display. We're over 4 light years from Earth." Before them hung a massive structure that clearly wasn't natural. Its smooth, metallic surface reflected the light of Proxima Centauri. The Pathfinder had accidentally discovered a Concordat monitoring station. On the station, alarms blared. Monitor technician Jun nearly spilled his drink when the sensors detected the impossible: a human ship where no human ship could possibly be. "Security breach in Sector 7, he shouted into the communication system. "Unknown vessel has appeared, without using approved transit lanes." Commander Han arrived minutes later, his face showing rare emotion. How did they get here? Their technology shouldn't allow this for at least 2 centuries. The Concordat had strict first contact protocols. Species weren't supposed to encounter them until properly prepared, but the humans had broken the rules by simply showing up. "Should we destroy them?" asked Security Chief Day, hand hovering over weapon controls. Han hesitated. "No. Capture them. We need to understand how they got here." The Pathfinder's crew watched in awe as a beam of blue light shot from the alien structure. "Evasive maneuvers," Jin ordered, but too late. The beam wasn't a weapon. It was a tractor field that held their ship in place. "Captain, they're scanning," Krysan reported Engineer Hawa. "Our systems are being accessed." Jin made a quick decision. "Activate emergency protocols. Jettison the drive data core." A small capsule ejected from the Pathfinder moments before the ship was pulled into a docking bay. The capsule's stealth systems activated, making it nearly invisible as it drifted away, slowly beginning its long journey back toward Earth. The human crew was brought before Commander Han. Despite their fear, Jin stood tall. "How did you reach this station?" Han demanded through a hastily configured translation system. "We didn't mean to," Jin answered honestly. "Our drive malfunctioned." Han didn't believe him. No accidental malfunction could have allowed them to travel so far. "Your species isn't ready for contact. You've disrupted centuries of careful planning." Meanwhile, on Earth, Dr. Min received an automated transmission from the Pathfinder's jettisoned data core. The partial information it contained was enough to confirm her theories, and to reveal that humans weren't alone in the universe. She took this information directly to World Council President Song. "They've been watching us," she explained, "and now they have our people." President Song called an emergency session. "We need to prepare. If they've taken our explorers, they might come for the rest of us next." Dr. Min spent weeks analyzing the data. "Their technology isn't magic," she told the assembled scientists. "It follows principles we can understand. Given time, we can match it." Back at the Concordat station, the Council ordered Jin and his crew transferred to the central Concordat world for questioning. Commander Han personally delivered the news to the humans. "Your unauthorized contact has forced the Council's hand," Han explained. "Earth will now be contacted centuries ahead of schedule. Your species will be offered membership in the Concordat, but under strict supervision." Jin understood the unspoken threat. "And if we refuse?" Han's expression hardened. "Refusal is not an option." The Concordat sent its official message to Earth: submit to Concordat authority and end all independent space exploration, or face consequences. The message was meant to frighten humans into compliance. Instead, it united them. President Song addressed the world. "We will not abandon our destiny among the stars. We will not submit to those who would limit human potential." In her lab, Dr. Min made a breakthrough. Using the data from the Pathfinder, She identified a fundamental weakness in Concordat technology. Their systems were elegant and advanced, but predictable. They hadn't faced a real challenge in thousands of years. Their momentum is their weakness, she told President Song. They only move in expected ways. We don't have that limitation. The stage was set for conflict. The humans prepared for a fight they shouldn't have been able to win. The Concordat prepared for a simple disciplinary action against an upstart species. Both sides were about to be surprised. The emergency meeting gathered all of Earth's most powerful leaders. They met in an underground bunker safe from any watching eyes. General Kang stood before them, his face grim. "The Concordat has given us their terms," he said, showing the alien message on the main screen. "They want us to stop all space exploration and accept their rule." President Song rose from her seat. "And if we refuse, they'll force us to comply," General Kang answered. "Their ships are already moving toward our solar system." Dr. Min entered the room carrying a small metal device. All eyes turned to her. Since the Pathfinder incident, she had become Earth's most important scientist. "I've studied the data from Captain Jin's ship," she said. "The Concordat's technology is advanced, but it has weaknesses." She placed the device on the table. It projected a hologram showing alien ship designs. "Their faster-than-light travel relies on specific energy patterns," she explained in simple terms. "They've used the same technology for thousands of years, without changing it. If we disrupt these patterns, we can disable their ships." General Kang looked skeptical. "How can we fight an enemy that's ruled the galaxy for 20,000 years?" "Because they haven't had to fight for a long time," Dr. Min replied. "They've forgotten how to adapt. The world leaders voted unanimously. Earth would not surrender." Over. The next 3 months, humans worked together in a way they never had before. Old enemies became allies. Resources were shared. Scientists worked day and night. Dr. Min led a team to build the first momentum disruptor. It looked simple, a small device that could fit in one hand. But its effect on Concordat technology would be devastating. It creates an energy field that interferes with their faster-than-light drives, she explained to the Defense Council. When activated, their ships will be forced to drop to normal space. While scientists worked on defense, Captain Jin and his crew remained prisoners of the Concordat. They were kept on a space station orbiting a distant planet. Guards watched them constantly. "They're afraid of us," Jin told his crew one night. "Not because we're strong, but because we're unpredictable." Engineer Hua had been studying the station's systems. "Their technology doesn't change," she whispered. "The same access codes work every time. I think I can get us into their computer network." That night, while the guards changed shifts, Hua used a makeshift device to access the Concordat's information system. What they discovered shocked them. "Look at this," she told Jin, showing him the translated files. "The Concordat has been holding back other species for thousands of years. Any civilization that develops too quickly gets reset. Their technology destroyed, their people forced to start over." Jin's face hardened. "We need to get this information back to Earth." On Earth, the first human faster-than-light ship was ready. Named the Defiance, it incorporated both human innovation and reverse-engineered Concordat technology. Pilot Yun would command it. "Your mission is simple, but dangerous," General Kang told her. "Infiltrate Concordat space, gather intelligence, and return. Do not engage the enemy." The Defiance launched in secret, using Dr. Min's modifications to avoid detection. Its journey took just days instead of years. When it reached Concordat space, Pilot Yun was careful to stay hidden. She recorded everything she saw: massive fleets, space stations, and thousands of worlds under Concordat control. Then she discovered something unexpected: other species that looked ready to rebel. They just needed a spark. Meanwhile, Captain Jin and his crew executed their escape plan. During a station maintenance cycle, they broke free and stole a small transport ship. With them went copies of the Concordat's darkest secrets. As both the Defiance and Jin's stolen ship raced back to Earth, the Concordat realized what had happened. Commander Han was summoned before the council. "The humans have learned too much," said Counselor J. We must act now. Han nodded grimly. I will lead the fleet myself. Back on Earth, humans prepared for war. But thanks to Dr. Min and the returning crews, they had something the Concordat never expected: hope. The Concordat fleet appeared at the edge of the solar system without warning. 100 massive ships, each larger than anything humans had built. Commander Han stood on the bridge of his flagship, confidence radiating from him. This would be a simple operation. Subdue the primitive humans and restore order to the galaxy. All ships in formation, reported his second-in-command. The humans have been detected gathering their vessels near their fourth planet. Han almost smiled. They think Mars will provide some strategic advantage? How primitive. Earth's defense fleet looked pathetically small in comparison. Just 50 ships of various sizes, hastily built using the new technology developed by Dr. Min. General Kang commanded from the flagship Resilience. Enemy forces approaching in standard Concordat formation, reported Tactical Officer G. Exactly as Captain Jin described from his captivity. General Kang nodded. They haven't changed their tactics in centuries. They don't need to when they always outclass their opponents. Dr. Min stood nearby, monitoring her instruments. Remember, we need to get them to activate their faster-than-light drives. That's when they're most vulnerable to the disruptors. The human fleet didn't wait for the Concordat to reach them. Instead, they executed a maneuver that seemed like a retreat, falling back toward Jupiter in apparent disarray. Commander Han watched with satisfaction. They flee already, pursue and capture their leadership vessels. The mighty Concordat ships accelerated, their engines flaring with blue-white energy as they activated their short-range faster-than-light drives to overtake the humans. That was the moment Dr. Min had been waiting for. Now! General Kang ordered. All across the solar system, hidden satellites activated simultaneously. They emitted an invisible energy wave that spread outward, specifically tuned to the frequency of Concordat drive systems. Aboard his flagship, Han felt the ship shudder violently. Warning alarms blared as systems failed across the fleet. What's happening? He demanded as his view screen filled with static. Our drive systems are failing, his engineer reported. Some kind of interference pattern is disrupting the energy matrix. The Concordat ships dropped back to normal space, their primary systems offline. What had been an organized fleet was now a collection of drifting vessels. That's when the human fleet turned around. No longer retreating, they moved with purpose, targeting the now vulnerable Concordat ships. Impossible, Han whispered as he watched the humans execute complex maneuvers his own ships could no longer perform. On the Resilience, General Kang gave the order. Target their weapons and communications only. We want to disable, not destroy. The battle that followed shocked the Concordat. Their ships, designed for overwhelming power rather than adaptation, couldn't adjust to the changing situation. Human vessels, smaller but more agile, darted between the massive alien ships, firing precisely at key systems. Meanwhile, Dr. Min initiated the second phase of Earth's plan. Special transmitters began broadcasting a message to every species in the galaxy, using the Concordat's own communication network against them. The message contained proof of the Concordat's systematic suppression of technological development, along with Dr. Min's innovations freely shared. You don't understand what you're doing, Commander Han told General Kang when his flagship was finally boarded. The Concordat maintains order. Without us, the galaxy will fall into chaos. General Kang studied the alien commander. Perhaps, but it will be free chaos, not controlled stagnation. As the battle in the Sol system ended with a human victory, reports came in from across the galaxy. Other species, inspired by humanity's resistance, were rising up against their Concordat overseers. The carefully maintained order that had lasted for 20 millennia began crumbling in a matter of days. Dr. Min monitored these developments with mixed feelings. We never wanted a war, she told President Song. We just wanted the freedom to find our own path among the stars. Freedom always has a price, the president replied. But the hardest part is still ahead, building something better than what we've torn down. As the Concordate's grip weakened across the galaxy, Commander Han was brought to Earth as a prisoner. Looking out at the blue planet, he finally understood what made humans different. It wasn't their technology, or even their determination. It was their refusal to accept limitations, even ones that had governed the galaxy for 20,000 years. The remaining Concordate Council gathered in their ancient chamber for perhaps the last time. Only 7 members remained from the original 12. The others had fled when their worlds rebelled. Commander Han stood before them in chains. Despite his defeat at Earth, they had summoned him for one final desperate plan. The humans have destabilized everything we built, said Counselor J, her voice trembling with rage. This cannot stand. Minister Park nodded slowly. We must activate the Terminus Protocol. A shocked silence filled the room. In 20,000 years of Concordate rule, they had never used their ultimate weapon. The Terminus Protocol could collapse. A star into a supernova, destroying entire solar systems. Is this truly necessary? Asked Han. The humans defeated us, yes, but they've shown mercy to our people. Mercy is weakness, Counselor J replied coldly. The humans must be erased before more species follow their example. On Earth, celebrations of the victory were interrupted by an urgent message. Captain Jin, monitoring captured Concordate communications, discovered their terrible plan. They're sending their largest dreadnought to our solar system, he reported to the Emergency Council. It carries a weapon that can destroy our sun. General Kang turned to Dr. Min. Is there any way to stop it? Dr. Min studied the Concordate weapon designs Jin had transmitted. Her face grew pale. Yes, but it would require someone to get very close to their ship when the weapon activates. The feedback would destroy both vessels. I'll go, said Captain Jin immediately. No, Dr. Min replied quietly. The disruption needs precise calibration. I'm the only one who understands the technology well enough. President Song tried to find another solution, but there was no time. The Concordate dreadnought would reach Earth in 3 days. Dr. Min spent her final days refining her disruption device and recording messages for those she would leave behind. She spoke of hope, not fear, and of the future she believed humanity would build among the stars. The dreadnought arrived exactly when predicted. It was massive, easily 10 times larger than Earth's largest vessel. It moved directly toward the sun, ignoring all attempts at communication. Dr. Min boarded a small, fast ship called the Hope. With a skeleton crew of volunteers, she piloted toward the dreadnought as it prepared to fire. On the Concordate vessel, alarms blared as they detected the approaching ship. Destroy it, ordered the commander. Energy. Weapons fired, but the Hope was too quick, dodging between blasts as it approached. The dreadnought began channeling enormous power toward its main weapon. They're about to fire, reported the Hope's navigator. 30 seconds. Dr. Min activated her disruptor at precisely the right moment. As the dreadnought's weapon reached maximum power, her device created a field that reversed the energy flow. The massive power meant to destroy Earth's sun flowed backward into the Concordate ship. The Hope was caught in the feedback wave. Dr. Min's last transmission was simple. Remember, the universe belongs to those who dream. Both ships disappeared, in a flash of light brighter than 1,000 suns. But Earth remained safe. The destruction of the dreadnought marked the final end of Concordate power. With their ultimate weapon gone and their authority broken, the remaining council members surrendered. 1 month later, representatives from 50 species gathered on Earth to form a new alliance. Unlike the Concordate, this galactic assembly would be based on cooperation and shared innovation, not control. General Kang represented humanity at the first meeting. We are not the oldest or most advanced species here, he told the assembly, but we have learned that progress comes from freedom, not restriction. The galaxy doesn't belong to those who came first. It belongs to all of us, together. The new era wasn't perfect. Some former Concordate worlds struggled with their sudden freedom. Others raced ahead with technologies they weren't fully prepared to control. But unlike before, each civilization could choose its own path. On Earth, a memorial was built to honor Dr. Min. It didn't contain her image or even her name. Instead, it showed a simple star map with paths connecting thousands of worlds. Paths that were once closed but now lay open to all. Commander Han, granted amnesty for his help in the final days, visited the memorial 1 year later. An old human stood nearby watching him. "Do you regret it?" the old man asked. "The fall of the Concordat?" Han considered the question carefully. "I regret the losses," he said finally. "But not the change. My people ruled for 20,000 years without truly advancing. Now we must learn again." "That's what makes life interesting," the old man replied with a smile, "not knowing what comes next." Above them, ships from a dozen worlds passed through, Earth's busy spaceport, traveling to destinations that had been forbidden just a year before. The galaxy was moving again with a new kind of momentum, not the slow, controlled advance of the Concordat, but the chaotic, brilliant, unstoppable momentum of freedom.